Good
Yep.
morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever and wherever you are. This is Lee, and we're on the game of tones, where we work on speech anxiety in all its gross forms. And right now, we're talking with Silvia. Say hello, Silvia.
Hello to everyone.
Buongiorno,
Buongiorno.
buonasera, buonanotte. No, non lo so.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, it's almost day
We
here.
don't know what time it is. If it's in New Zealand, it's like 3 in the morning or something.
Okay. Here in Italy, it's 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
and where you live is 10 or
I'm
11. Normally it's
10:15.
10.
10:15,
Okay.
yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
So Sylvia lives in Sweden now and
Yeah.
for now, and she's married and she has a baby less than a year old, and she has a master's in biomedical engineering, whatever that is, and she has a job as a software developer. And stuttering from age 3, mainly blocks, severe to 90% with authorities and on the phone. That was when she first contacted us in October of 2020. But it has been
Hmm.
some time since then, and we have talked, a half dozen times or more, maybe, since then. And that's at this point, since the book, she said, it's almost well, unquote. She has a
Hmm.
father and a niece that stutter. Still
Hmm.
issues with strangers, the phone authorities, and so forth. Presentations, mainly first feared words. She had been using crutch 1, drop the first letter or syllable. Crutch 4, insert a sound or a word and connect it to the feared word. Crutch 2, synonym similar words. Crutch 11, speak like a queen. Crutch 9, pronunciation. Crutch 10, word linkage. And she was working on crutch 11 more and trying crutch 13, which is the graduate crutch of the fluent speaker, where you don't think about crutches or anything else, you just talk. Oh, isn't that a
Yeah.
shock?
Yeah,
And
that's
you're doing it,
true.
aren't you?
Yes, I'm doing most of the time. And when I know that I'm going to stutter, I try to use crutch 11.
Okay, when you
So,
know when you know that there's a, a threat of a stutter, but you're not
yeah,
going to accept the threat. You're going to block it,
yeah,
and stay fluent. You're not
yeah,
going in that ditch over here off the road. You're not going down there because you know
yeah.
how to not do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to not do it. Now, when you when you think there's a threatened stutter, tell us how you employ crutch 11. What do you do?
So when I think about fear of stuttering, um, I okay. So before I think that I love to speak, and I repeat it as much time as possible. Then I talk less. So when I stop talking, I'm quite safe. And then I take from 1 to 5 words. I don't remember how many.
Well, you don't count them,
And
it's roughly.
yeah, yeah, it's just um, it's I just take few words and I say them with word linkage or extreme pronunciation, like I'm doing now. So, and I just stop. So I go to a full stop. So I speak in short burst,
I love it. I love it.
and that's all.
Say after me, we have free choice
We have free choice
to accept or reject thoughts.
to accept or reject thoughts.
Nothing compels us to think anything.
Nothing compels us to think anything
Except our own desires.
Accept our own desires.
So use your mental switch
So use your mental switch
and dictate your thoughts.
and dictate your thoughts.
Believe that you can improve and you
Be-
will.
believe that you can improve and you will.
That entire time, everything I said, with two exceptions, was 5 or less words. The two
Yeah.
exceptions, one was 6 words and one was 9.
Mm-hmm.
That's how well you can speak. So I can say we have free choice to accept or reject thoughts. Nothing compels us to think anything except our own desires. So use your mental switch and dictate your thoughts. Believe
Mm-hmm.
that you can improve, and you will. Now, I sounded quite normal, didn't I, doing that?
Yeah.
I'm talking in 1 to 5 word bursts, roughly.
Yeah. You are using passion when you talk.
I do.
Yeah.
I believe what I say. I want you to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to sell it. I'm a salesman. If I'm not selling something, maybe I'm asking questions, but I do that with passion too, to show I'm really interested in the subject and in what you
Mm-hmm.
have to say and in you. If I
Yeah.
think if I think passion alone, there comes a point when the only thing you need to think is passion. Pardon
Yeah.
me, sir. Could you tell me where the bus station is? Excuse me, madam. My toast is so dry. Would you please pass the butter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can make an event out of anything.
Yeah.
It's
So
fun.
since I'm trying to use passion the first time and also now, I feel a bit weird when I speak because it's something different from what I usually do, but I think that indicates that I'm on the right path
Exactly,
because
precisely.
it's weird.
Of course it's weird because you've not done it before, but
No.
it's actually the normal, natural Sylvia. This one who
Mm-hmm.
thinks about words, that's not the normal, natural Sylvia. That's someone who's erecting blocks, impediments that separate her from communicating in a normal way. And
Mm-hmm.
when she does Crutch 13, she speaks, she thinks and speaks simultaneously. She doesn't think and then try to force out words. She does both things together, as I am doing now.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't write a script for my conversation with you today. I'm 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 creating it as I say it
Yeah.
simultaneously. Did you ever read Ruth Mead's book Speech is a River?
No,
Well,
not
it's a
yet.
good book. You'd enjoy it, and
Mm-hmm.
it basically says that speech is a river. It just flows, and I
Yeah.
mean, if you'll speak spontaneously, that is without planning, you're totally fluent. And of course, she's right. The trick is, how do you do it? How do you make yourself do it? And of course, my book has a lot of ways that help you get from stuttering, thinking every word and fighting with them all, to not thinking any words and being totally fluent. And you're
Mm-hmm.
well on the way to being there.
Yeah.
You're not far from there
Mm-hmm.
at all. You're not far away.
Yeah, I have a question about it. So when I do a presentation or when presentation, job interview or whatever, public speaking, I usually think about what I'm going to say. So, uh, if, for instance, I have a presentation in few hours before I think about what I'm going to say, because it's something that comes spontaneous to me since I did for all of my life. Is it right, or should I just or I shouldn't prepare anything?
Everything in my book is aimed at conversation. The subject of making presentations is discussed in this book, Speech Anxiety to Public Speaking,
Uh-huh.
which is on the SAC website, along with a dozen or so videos to explain it. But the answer to
Yes, I
your
have it.
question is it's your choice, and there is no right or wrong answer. How did I do it? I, I view conversation totally spontaneous. Presentation, I do one of two things. I either prepare bullet points. I start out by making a list of bullet points of what I want to say. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many points I want to make. I make a list. Then I either decide, do I want to speak from this, just from these bullet points spontaneously? If I do, I ask myself the next question. Well, always before you give a talk, you need to ask yourself three things. What is the topic? And if you're choosing it, what is it? If someone is asking you to speak on a subject like biomedical engineering, uh, they're asking you to come up with the content. So that's okay. So you got to first know the topic. The second thing you got to know is who's the audience. Are they laymen? Are they hard laborers? Are they professionals? Are they lawyers or doctors or accountants? Are they educators? Are they politicians? What are they? Because that will determine what you want to say as well. And then the third thing you got to know is how long you have to speak. So first question is what's your topic? The second question is who's your audience? And the third question is how long do you have to speak? Let's say they say you've got 20 minutes, Sylvia. Prepare a talk for 15 minutes. Always leave them wanting more. If they give you 30 minutes, prepare 20. If they give you 10 minutes, prepare 7. If they give you 5 minutes, prepare 4. Whatever it is, leave them wanting. So then now you've narrowed it down and you've decided, I know my topic, I know my audience, I know how long I want to talk. Now I make a list of my bullet points. And I say to myself, okay, let's say there are 3 main points, let's say there are 5 main points I want to make, and I've got 20 minutes to talk. Well, in most cases, I'm not going to use the full 20 minutes. I'm going to use 15 minutes. So if I've got 5 points and I want to make an introduction and a conclusion, that's going to take me 3 minutes anyway. So now got 12 minutes left to cover 5 points. So I've got, let's say 2 minutes. I'm going to leave 2 minutes floating. I'm going to allow 2 minutes for each bullet point. Well, they're not equally important, so maybe I'll do 3 for one and 1 for another. But I make these decisions. This is when I'm talking from bullet points. Now, normally when I talk for bullet points, it was like somebody came up to me at a banquet and said, Lee, would you mind getting up and giving a report on what your committee did for the group in the last 6 months or something? Would you give us a little remarks on that 5 minutes or so? Sure. So I get a napkin and I make a list of my bullet points, 1, 2, 3. And I say I'm going to take my watch off and I'm going to put it right down by my bullet points so I got a rough idea how long I'm talking. Then I get up and I talk extemporaneously there. I only do that when I have no choice to write it out. If I can write it out in advance, I always write it out. Why is that? Because I will give a much, much better speech. I write it out and I polish it and I polish it and I polish it. And if I were in the days when I feared stuttering, over feared words, I would write 2 or 3 synonyms or similar words that I could use. So
Okay.
I always
Yeah.
had I never stuttered. Oh no, I didn't. Not then. Not then. So I would get up and I would rehearse my speech in a mirror until basically I knew it by heart. Oh yeah. So I could
Mm-hmm.
look at the first word or two of every paragraph and I knew the whole paragraph. Then I could concentrate on being emotional. I could really try and work on bringing my audience in. And it became a question of which methods I was going to use, not crutches. Because by the time I was 30, I rarely needed a crutch. I mean, I didn't need it on a continuing basis. It's just a rare occasion here and there that I needed a crutch. And I knew them well enough that I didn't need to practice them. I just knew them. So I wrote the speech out. And then I was, if I could, I didn't like to read it because people are bored. If you get up and go, most of us go through life knowing only half of ourselves, so we use only half. No, I don't do that. I have it there in front of me as a reminder. Most of us go through life knowing only half of ourselves, so we use only half of our abilities. We suffer because we are strangers to ourselves. I just read you that, but you didn't know it. So I can practice reading something and you'll never know I'm reading it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the
Okay.
point is, how did I answer your question? You got to know your topic, you got to know your audience, and you got to know how long you got to talk. And then you're
Mm-hmm.
either going to prepare bullet points and speak from those, basically extemporaneously, without a written text, or you're going to write out a speech and polish it and keep practicing it until you've almost memorized it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to get up and give it with great passion. And the more full stops you use, and the more you change your voice register, and the more you make them wait to hear what you have to say, the better they will like your speech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my question was that because uh, because I usually write something, what I want to say. I usually write in the paper, but then, and I usually memorize. So when I memorize something, it's impossible to stutter. But if I want to use the crutches, I should speak spontaneously. So I shouldn't write any test or I shouldn't do any list of what I want to say, otherwise I will think about words. And I,
Well, no, that's not necessarily true. If you've written a text, number one, you can still use crutches if you need them. You can still rop the erst eder on urge if
mm,
you need to, or you can still go Mephistopheles,
mm,
Memphis. You can
yeah.
still modulate as you go. You can still whisper. You can still think extreme pronunciation. You can still link
Mm,
your words and syllables together. You can still speak like a queen, softly, slowly, using pronunciation, linkage, passion, smiling, oh yes, and full stops. You can still do all those things. Yes, you can. And when you can't think words, when you're thinking solutions, crutches, and methods, you got to think one or the other. Your job is
yeah.
to be disciplined enough to keep
Mm-hmm.
thinking the right thing. The solution's not the problem. There
Okay.
is no problem when you think solutions. It's gone.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
more
makes
you
sense.
practice a speech in front of a mirror or in a closet or to your dog or to your husband,
Mhm.
the better for you, the better
Mm-hmm.
you'll do
Okay.
it.
Okay. Yeah.
You can do this in many ways, and it's going to really elevate your confidence level tremendously because you're going to do it
Yeah.
well. When you practice, you're going to do it well, and that's
True.
going to build your confidence. And next time, it's going to be easier.
Mm-hmm.
It'll always get easier.
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy
Yeah,
this.
true. So I can start to write a text or do a list and then practice. And I build some confidence. And then next time, or maybe in the future, I won't need to do any text or bullet points. Yeah,
Exactly.
bullet point. Maybe you need it because you want to write what you want to say, just to keep in mind. But yeah, okay,
It's
thank you.
talking to me like talking to a friend or an authority figure or a stranger, or what's it like?
It's like talking to my colleague.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not friend. It's not either authority figures. It's
Somewhere
like talking
between.
at,
Okay.
yeah, it's like being at work with my team and yeah, do presentations and
Well, may I tell you
this.
that you're a very fluent speaker?
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
thank
I
you.
think you are.
Yeah, yes, I'm
Yes, you
improving. Yeah,
are. Now,
yeah.
how long has it been, Sylvia, since you had an incident that was clearly speech disabled?
It
When was
was
that?
2 weeks. It was
Two
two
weeks.
weeks ago.
2 weeks
Yeah,
ago. Uh-huh.
yeah.
Let's see. Um, I got to make a couple of notes here. She's
Sure.
going to C13 mainly, um,
Mm.
mainly working passion, and we
Slowly and
practiced um,
softly.
public speaking formats. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Um, have you been able to come to Sam? Have we seen you at Sam? I can't remember. I don't think we've seen you for a
I'm
while.
not, no, in the last, I guess, 2 trees, no, 2 weekends, I didn't go to Sam because I'm in Italy. So I see my family just in the weekends so they
Okay.
can stay with my son.
Okay.
And yeah, so we
Okay.
have only the
Okay.
weekends to stay
Do
together.
do try to come when you can though, because
Yeah, sure.
you need to be there and hear these people, and you need to ask questions and make comments. You need to
Yeah,
keep doing that. You need to push yourself to do it. If no more than to say thank you, I enjoyed your talk and blah blah blah. I mean, do it because again, it's part of the growing process.
yeah,
And you'll always learn from other people there who are ahead of you and are behind you and are where you are. And everybody
hmm,
understands the situation. Everybody
yeah,
knows. We're all kindred spirits at Sam.
yeah, we are on the same boat.
Exactly. And some of us are doing incredibly well with our speech, and many of us are doing well, and many of others of us are getting there at a good clip, and some of us are still trying to figure out how to get going in the right direction. But most
Yeah,
of
it
us
takes
are
time.
moving down the
Oh
road
no, no,
already.
no. Yes, sorry to interrupt you. I just said that it takes time and a lot of patience. A lot,
Yes, but
a lot.
the sooner, what is the fastest way to total fluency from where you are? From where you are, it's focusing on speaking before you think, and short bursts.
Yeah.
Speak before you think and do it in short
Speak
bursts.
before you
And if you
think.
can throw in passion and smiling, home run.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, urge, um,
Speak
speak before thinking
your urge.
in short bursts and passion dash smiling. Smile. That's the fastest way for you to become 100% fluent and to teach yourself to love to speak in all venues. Of course, the latter, you need to do it. You need to expand this comfort zone, you got to push it 110%, then 120%, then 130%, and 40%, 50, until there's no, your comfort zone is where mine is. I have no comfort zone. I don't care, and I'm not kidding you, if I were standing in front of a million people right now with cameras, mics, and they're all staring at me, I would love it. I would have not one scintilla of fear. None. Zero. You can do the same thing. Because I realized a long time ago, speech is not the problem. I created problems that weren't there. I created my own enemies. They're gone now. I don't recognize them. They're not part of me. And if you keep going, speech is a lifelong journey. And the reason it's a blessing is because the same things that you're doing to beat Satan stuttering are the same things you'll do with mind training to beat boredom, depression, anger, anxiety, jealousy, hatred, greed, insomnia, sloth, and everything. Every negative kind of thinking you can have, you can pull it up other roots. And you can plant what you know is the right thing. You know what the right thing is. No one needs to tell you that.
Mm-mm.
And when you say, hey, I'm not going to be a train wreck waiting to happen anymore. That is, I'm going to hold on to the steering wheel of my mind. I'm in charge. I'm going to drive this baby. It's going where I want it to go. I'm going to make myself the person I want to be. I'm not just going to get blown around like a leaf because the environment is pushing this kind of thinking or that kind of thinking. I'm not buying it. You know what's right. Never go against your common sense. I don't even do it with doctors and lawyers without getting two or three opinions. If I think something doesn't make common sense, I don't do what they say either. I go get another opinion and another one.
Mm-hmm.
Never go against your common sense.
Yeah.
So, stuttering is a blessing, and you're blessed to have had it, and you're blessed to beat it. And then you got to make something, you got to carry that victory into every other area of your life and make yourself the best person that you can ever be. And that's all anyone can do. And it's always enough. It's always enough.
Yeah. True.
It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't insulate us from unhappy events, but enables us to deal with them better and to go on.
Mm.
I'm reminded of a great singer actress from many, many years ago, long before I was around watching films, named Lillian Roth.
I don't know.
You wouldn't know her. She was very famous in her day.
Okay.
She became an alcoholic. She was from a
Mm.
very poor family. She had a very tough youth, and she became very famous and made a lot of money. She married several times. Her husbands took her money, of course, and she ended up broke and an
Okay.
alcoholic in a gutter. And she found Alcoholics Anonymous, that's Society, AA, and they helped her get back on her feet. And she recovered. And in her 40s, she wrote a book called I'll Cry Tomorrow. Her slogan was, she always said, no matter how bad things were, she'd say to herself, it's okay, I'll cry tomorrow. Today I'm not going to cry, but tomorrow I'm going to cry. Tomorrow never came. And
Mm.
one of the great lines she wrote, I've never forgotten, is that even when life was bad, it was good. Don't you love that?
Yeah, yeah, yes. Yeah, you see the positive things that you have in your life.
They're always there, Sylvia.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
And we have to recognize them and rejoice in those things and make the best of them and not let the down stuff destroy us.
Mm-hmm.
We adjust to them and we go on. Even when life was bad, it was still good. Yeah.
Yeah,
So stuttering's a blessing, and you're converting that lemon into lemonade. That's what you're doing. And you're
yeah,
getting close. You're getting close.
yeah.
Close.
I think that in my past, I had a lot of speech therapists when I was a child or when I was a teenager, but no one of them helped me like this
They
one.
weren't stutterers. They
No,
never
yeah,
stuttered. They
they,
couldn't understand your problem. And that is the problem with so many therapists. God bless
yeah,
them. They may be able to help you with a million problems, but stuttering
yeah,
is not among them.
yeah. Once, one of them was a stutter, but he was still
He was still
stutter
stuttering.
a bit, but a bit.
Okay,
But
okay,
yeah.
okay, but all right. So one of them was a stutter. Okay, I stand corrected. That's a rare therapist, but he
Mhm.
still stuttered some. Okay,
Yeah, some.
I want I want to be coached by an ex-stutterer who doesn't stutter.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
I'm going to take golf lessons from someone who knows the golf links really well and who's played
Mm-hmm.
at multiple levels, including some pretty high levels.
Yeah,
This is a person that has been there, done that, and I'm going to bet on them. Now, it's true. Some people can explain what they know better than others, and that's a knack. I think that's my strongest suit. I can explain what I know how to do. And the people I've trained to coach, like Prathusha Ravi and Javier Cortazar, Leah Aref, these people are terrific coaches. Terrific. They are. Just great.
yes, I saw some videos
Yeah.
of their
But
coaches.
you're stuck with me.
Yeah. No, 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 no. Yeah, I'm happy.
And I'm not letting you off the hook until I get a success story out of you.
Yeah,
And then I'm going to keep you on the hook until you can tell me, I love to speak. I don't care where it is. I love it. Give me the mic, please.
yeah. My next step after that should be learning how to love to speak
Yes, of course.
everywhere without thinking about how many people will be there
Yeah,
or who will be there. And
exactly. It's
yeah,
irrelevant.
yeah,
What I said on the cover of the book is absolute truth. If I can say one word anywhere, anytime, logic says I can say or I can love to say any word, anywhere, anytime.
hmm,
That's pure logic.
yeah,
You know you can do it. You've got to let yourself do it. How do you do that? Pursue Crutch 13 even more. Speak before you think. If it's a speech you're given, we talked about that. It's bullet points or it's you're going to write it out. That's a speech. That's another subject. The rest of the time, you speak as you think or before you think. You have an urge. You're thirsty. You're hungry. You're this, you're that, whatever. You speak then. You don't wait. You need not
Mhm.
organize anything. Fluency means spontaneous. It means immediate speech. And as you do it, be passionate, smile, share the wealth, make people happy. Why shouldn't you? What does it cost you? Nothing. You can do it. Change your
Mhm.
karma. When you start talking, think enthusiasm. That's what Prathusha does. She'll tell you she converts her anxiety into enthusiasm. She just changes it
Yeah.
and she uses it. How excited can I be when I speak? And
Yeah.
Italians use their hands. That's not a bad thing in a conversation. Do it.
Yeah.
Relax. Move around. Be a person. You're not a mannequin.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Share yourself. Be open. There's no
Yes,
reason
I
to hold
agree.
back. There's nothing to hold back. There's no point. Let it out. You know what's right and what's wrong. You're not going to let out something that's wrong. Period. You're not going to do it. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, good.
I'll see you next
Yes.
week.
Perfect. Thank you for your
Keep
time.
up the good work. It's my pleasure, dear.
Sure.
Talk to you then.